Welcome to Turn Talks, the podcast that bridges the gaps between college and career. Join your host, Tina Fox, founder of Turn Mentoring, as she brings together corporate leaders, educators, and university alumni to share practical wisdom and equip you with confidence, clarity, and connection.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tina Fox, the founder and CEO of Turn Mentoring, and this is Turn Talks. Welcome. Today, we have two very special guests because I am on location at Texas Tech University over here in beautiful Lubbock, Texas. We're at the Rawls College of Business with two seniors. We've got Jaiden Thomas. Jaiden is not only an architecture major, but also a business major. His hometown is El Paso, Texas, and his post-grad plan is that he is going to go into a master's degree in architecture. We also have Ryan Briggs. Her major is information technology with a minor in sports management. Her hometown is Albuquerque, New Mexico, and her post-grad plan is to go to law school. So we wanted to kick off this conversation today. I've had the privilege to work with both of these students through internship. They're both part of an amazing team called Mission Possible, and they have worked with Turn, so they know a lot about our company. They obviously are students, and they're getting ready to graduate, so they've got a lot of wisdom to exchange, not only to the younger audiences of students who are still going through their college education, but also to all of those alumni mentors out there who are interested in finding out, so what's it like to be a senior today? What are some of the thoughts and concerns and issues that they're dealing with in today's market, not only in the job market, but also in lots of other areas, like in their personal life? So we're going to start with, what is the one thing you wish freshmen understood about what sneaks up onto you by senior year? So we'll start with Jaiden.
I would say the one thing that I wish freshmen understood is that you're going to have to make a lot of decisions your senior year, especially ones that feel like they are life altering, because they kind of are. And not only that, but you've built so many relationships within your college years and like friendships and things like that. But you all are kind of going your own separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a territory that's unfamiliar, because even in high school and elementary school, you're with people all the time, like every single day. And then now you're kind of stripped away from that.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to learn how to make friends in the workforce or outside of work and things like that.
Okay. And what about you, Ryan?
I would agree with a lot of what Jaiden said. And I think freshman me knew, but didn't understand. Because, your parents are always telling you these are going to be the best and fastest 4 years of your life.
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, yeah, sure, mom. But it really is. And I would want freshmen to know, like, time really is scarce. And like Jaiden said, you have to be a lot more intentional with everything that you do, the relationships that you build, the things that you choose to do outside of class, whether it be extracurriculars or work or the friendships that you make. Like, all of those things, it's just like you really have to be very focused on what you want to do with like every minute of your day. And it goes by so fast.
So I described you as far as your majors and minors, and you've been here for 4 years. And like you said, it's gone by in a blink of an eye, but I'm sure every day seems like a long day, especially when you're taking 16, 18 credit hours.
Yeah.
So who are you beyond the major and the minors? Who have you become in these 4 years that you've been here at Rawls?
Speaking for me personally, I feel like I'm someone who learned the value of family especially within these last 4 years. I feel like I didn't really understand how much I was gonna miss my family until I was away from them. So that made me be more grateful about like the time that I do spend with my family. And also like the family that I have created here at Texas Tech and those friendships. So really, I just like to travel. I like to hang out with my family and my friends outside of school.
As a mom of teenagers that have not entered college, you're giving me hope that they're going to want to hang out with people
there is.
more. Okay. How about you, Ryan? A lot of development, I'm sure.
Yes. And being away from home and just like my first time living alone and all these things, it's really helped me like figure out who I am and what things apply to me particularly and how to apply my strengths and weaknesses. Like, I am very type A, and that sometimes makes it harder to make relationships, but I found the people who I really click with and the different processes that really work for me. So it's like I actually spend a lot of my free time cleaning my house and I feel bad. And
Once again, hope.
I told
Have
my
a lot of
parents
faith.
times. But it's just like things that help your day by day go smoother, like finding people I can confide in and things that make my life easier, which is having a clean house, in my personal opinion. But
Yeah.
and just being able to do things that make you happy.
Do you think your 4 years has been a postponement of real life, or do you think it has helped you step into real life?
I think
Step into it for sure.
for sure.
Yeah, when I'm hearing you do things like cleaning your house and things of that nature, that's really cool. Okay, so you've been at Rawls. What do you feel as though is one moment that has changed you and how you see yourself outside of cleaning your house now?
I wouldn't even say just within Rawls, but just in other on-campus organizations across Texas Tech. But having other people believe in you before you believe in yourself has really been something that has kind of changed my perspective on how I approach different tasks. One specifically was I worked with tech athletic ambassadors on campus,
Mm-hmm.
and this can kind of go towards Scoville too. But having this kind of reputation that you have, like putting on a polo that says Texas Tech. For some reason, I didn't change any other thing about myself except for putting on this thing that made other people look at me like I knew what I was doing, even if I didn't. And it was like the confidence boost just immediately goes up. I may not know what I'm doing, but I will find out for you and I will go figure it out. And it's just something like that, like knowing I got this position for a reason, even if I don't know why. Like I did this interview, I wasn't confident. And they're like, they saw something in me that I didn't see myself. And like having that visual representation of, oh, someone believes in me
Mm.
made me have this like mind altering situation of like, oh, yeah, I can do this. And just like having that extra support was something that Rawls and Tech really brought to me.
That's really
Yeah.
beautiful. What about you, Jaden?
I 110% agree with Ryan. I feel like one moment for me was getting accepted into the Scoville Business Leadership Program. There are hundreds of kids that apply, and I had just finished high school, and it was a summer right before becoming a freshman here at Texas Tech. And so I applied, I did the interview, and it was like my first time ever really applying for a leadership role within college. And so ultimately, like I got the call back, and like Ryan said, I was able to put on that polo. And just like the staff and everybody here at Texas Tech felt confident in us, so that like really boosted our egos, but like not in an egotistical type of way. It just really helped us step into that leadership role with more confidence.
That is great. So you guys are talking about words like Scoville or, the athletic teams. So why don't we talk a second about some of the other, extracurriculars that you're involved in? Why don't you tell the audience, what else do you do? And talk about what Scoville is all about. I mentioned it probably a couple times.
It's because Scoville was the first program I joined at Texas Tech. I applied prior to being a student here. And you go through an interview process and you talk to a lot of different staff members and professors, and they look at your resumes and your high school academia and everything like that. And it's essentially a prestigious program in Rawls, specifically for top performing students to help them get an opportunity to be leaders and learn from leaders and be able to take the knowledge that they can get from the networking and all the different opportunities that they have and be able to give it back to other students and possibly mentees in the future. But I'm also involved in many other student orgs on campus. Texas Tech has so many opportunities. So I'm in Women in Business, Future Lawyers of Today. I was in Tech Athletic Ambassadors. I'm in a student sport management group. And they're really open to having so many people involved and they want to open doors for you. So all the opportunities here have been just amazing.
If there's 24 hours in a day, you know how to pack a day. So Jaden, I know that your resume is equally as impressive as far as like all these other extracurriculars. So what are you involved in?
Yes, I would say, just like Ryan said, even whenever I was just looking at which university I wanted to attend, something about Texas Tech that just like really jumped out at me was like their commitment to students, and then their commitment to professional development. So on the architecture side, I am vice president of NOMOS, which is a national organization of minority architects. Here in the business school, I'm also in Scoville. I'm also in the real estate organization, and then I do work for Texas Tech Housing as well.
Wow. So I was only involved in two things when I was, and that was enough. And I didn't even have a job. So I listened to this and I'm like, what made you want to get that involved in all these things? Plus you guys have heavy academic schedules on top of it. And are both of you graduating on time, 4 years? Early. You're graduating early by 6 months,
Mhm.
1 semester.
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you decide to get involved in all these things? Were people dragging you along? Were professors encouraging you? You just had an interest? What made you decide to do it?
For me, it kind of just came natural. I've always been like that. Even in high school, I was really involved. I think I was in like maybe like 4 student orgs. But like I said, it was different when I came to college because I kind of didn't have that confidence because I knew the student body was gonna be so huge, so I didn't have the confidence to be like student body president or anything like that. But because I was able to step here on campus and see professors really like see that value in us as students, that inspired me to apply and take the initiative to engage in these student leadership roles.
So we're here with Ryan Briggs, and she is talking to us about all of these extracurricular activities that she's participated in and what made you decide to do this with such a heavy academic schedule and graduating 6 months early.
It did kind of come pretty naturally to me as well. Just like a lot of classes, especially freshman intro classes, they have different student orgs come in and just give a brief little statement about who they are and what they do. And oddly enough, what really draws you in is that most of them have free food. And you're a freshman on campus and you're like, I'm hungry and you guys have pizza, so I will be there. And you just meet people and you join one student org. And now all of a sudden, the friends that you make in that student org are like, oh, hey, I'm also in this student org. You should come. And then you go a few times. And then all of a sudden, you have 6 different student org meetings that you're going to in a week. And you're like, wait, how did this happen? And you click with all those people and you really enjoy all the different activities. And all of a sudden, here you are. And every year you add another one because someone else tells you to.
There's definitely quantity. Do y'all feel the quality in these organizations? I know you mentioned you're vice president for the architecture group that you're with. So you feel quality in this time as well. You're not overspread.
No, I wouldn't say I'm overspread. One of the things with me is I only do something if my heart is truly in it, and I feel like every single student org, I'm truly in it and I'm committed to it, so it never feels like a burden, like being in these student orgs at all.
I think that's such great advice. I know you weren't offering it in that way, but what I heard was if you're going to be in something, give it your heart, give it
Yes.
your all. Otherwise, it will be quantity and
Right.
it won't be quality.
Right.
So is there anything you want to tell other students that maybe are shy to engage in, activities on campus? What advice do you have to give them?
I would say even if you are shy, it's okay. Just go ahead and take that first step. And like Ryan said, there's going to be tons of people that are very welcoming in many cases. And if you are kind of unsure about like a student org or an activity, just kind of like reflect on it. And if you truly can't commit to it, I think it's okay to step back. Like it's okay to let some things go. But like what you don't want to do is just stay in it and not put in any effort because that's going to show. And then word kind of spreads fast in terms of like your work ethic and things like that.
Yeah, that's part of your brand, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're setting your brand. Anything else you want to tell these students?
Yeah, I mean, it's a saying you hear all the time in college, like, you get out what you put into it, and so it's really just you take advantage of the opportunities that they give you. There's so many events across campus all the time, and if you either go or you don't, and when you do go, you either connect with people or you stand there and you look around and you feel left out. So it really is what you put into it, but all these organizations are on campus for a purpose, and that purpose is to help you. So don't be afraid to go to different student orgs because they're there for you. They want you to come. They want to see how they can help you. A lot of times, if you have something in mind that they don't have yet, you can bring it up and they'll create it. So it can really be whatever you want it to be. You just have to take the steps to get there.
I love that entrepreneurial spirit. So we're going to shift gears a little bit because you all are in your 20s, right? We won't tell exactly how old you are, but you're in your 20s. And one of my college besties actually recommended this book to me called The Defining Decade. So you all are in the defining decade. I'm going to read something here. This is by author Meg Jay. She's the PhD that wrote this book. She argues that your 20s aren't a dress rehearsal, that defining moments like earning power, changes in brain and personality development, and other key decisions about work, love, and self compound. So, what feels most uncertain right now as a 20-something-year-old getting ready to graduate from your four-year institution and go out to your next chapter? And, I did get a little bit of a precursor as to what's making me nervous today during our dinner last night. But, anything, whether it's work, money, relationships, what are you feeling today that you want to share? And I think your vulnerability will help others feel as though, okay, I'm not alone. So what do you say, Jaiden?
I would start off by saying I think that college has really helped me become confident in myself and my abilities. So I feel pretty confident there. Like graduating college, I feel like stepped out of my shell and I gained a lot of lifelong skills in college. I would say the things that are kind of uncertain for me are like things that give me anxiety. most definitely are relationships because I'm such a relationship-driven person. And so, like I said, I've gained a lot of friendships here in college and like
Mhm.
we're all going our separate ways. So that's kind of uncharted territory for me. And I would also say money, obviously. So for
That doesn't
me,
go
so
away, by the way.
that does not, yeah, that does not go away. But I would say one of the things for me in particular, just because I am going to get my master's, I'm kind of having to figure out, do I want to stay here at Texas Tech, an institution that's been so great to
Mhm.
me, or do I want to go somewhere else and take on that burden of tuition and like pay that on my own? So that's something that's kind of uncertain for me.
Okay.
The thing I'm, like, most uncertain about moving forward is just, like, time and direction. Because 'cause I've always been very scheduled. You always have, like, a 1 year, a 2 year, 5 year, 10-year plan, and you've gone from elementary school, middle school, high school, and there's always been this expectation of what the next step is. And so I'm getting to the point in my life, in my academics, in my career, where there are so many different options, and I don't know what the expectation is, what next step I can take. I don't have a vision of what my life will look like in 5 years to the accuracy that I've had before. So it's just hard to get a grasp of not knowing what could happen in the next couple of years or where I will end up.
Yeah. Well, there is ambiguity, for sure, in everything. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, but I think with the choices that I've seen you two make already, you make wise choices. You make educated decisions. And when you get there, you're going to figure it out. And so it's just one step in front of the other. But I totally understand the 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year thing. That was what my dad used to ask me in middle school. And he kept asking me that every week that he came home. So it was a great practice in goal setting. But as I, like you, moved past my college career and I was so uncertain about what even 1 year would look like,
Yeah.
it became more of a place of anxiety.
Mm.
So I understand that, but I can tell you that you're going to see yourself through every decision you make, and it's going to be brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely. On that, you've been a part of the Turn Mentoring
Mhm.
program. So you've had mentors. What have you learned about your mentors as far as that interaction and exchange?
The first interaction is always a bit nerve-wracking, and you kind of always feel like, "Oh, this is wrong." Like, they know everything that I know. I don't wanna ask them things 'cause I'm wasting their time, like, they don't wanna do this. But it really is just a matter of going deeper than surface level, because after you get through those first couple interactions and you gain a deeper respect for them as a person, and once they're able to, like, know a little bit more about you and what you've done, it is that level of respect does meet up.
And they're just
Yes.
people too.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jaden, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say that they're also people as well. So that's kind of how I've approached it every single time. I go into it with an open mind, and both of my mentors have been really, really great and understanding. And I never felt like there was like this power trip or anything. Like the dynamic was always really equal between the two of us. It just took us like some time
Mhm.
to get to know each other, and you have to be vulnerable and like share your strengths and your weaknesses with them. That way, like they know what to exactly help you on. And they will also ask us for help on, like, certain things as well, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's definitely two-way. So you guys in your early 20s, what are you hopeful in your 20s? What are you excited about?
I'm excited for all the possibilities. I feel like for me, I my mom always says this, but, like, once I have my mind made up on something, I always, like, go after it and I attack it and I, like, get it. So I kind of have certain things in my mind that I know I want to attain, and so I'm really driven in that aspect. But yeah.
What do you think you don't know?
A lot.
Yeah.
Many things.
Yeah, like, for me, I don't know where I'm gonna be in the fall, but, like, we talked about it yesterday, like, I know I'm gonna end up somewhere great, and I'm kinda just, like, waiting it out, I guess, but that uncertainty does give me some anxiety, so I know a lot of other people in their 20s are feeling the same way, but I don't know.
This kinda connects to, like, what you wish freshmen you knew,
Mhm.
but it's to be excited about challenges.
Yes.
I feel like so many students and people are just so afraid of change and so afraid of, oh, like, getting something wrong or raising your hand in class and getting the wrong answer, and it's really what I've learned is it's a lot more exciting to learn something new
Do that
and to be
process.
bad at it.
Yeah.
Because when you finally have that aha moment, you finally get it right, it's so much more rewarding.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited moving forward to learn new things, to step into new fields, to see more of like different processes and different businesses and just like how different cultures work in different cities and be able to expand more just like general knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to get things wrong because then when you get it right, it's so much more fun.
Yeah. I feel like you can't let your anxiety outweigh your curiosity or like
Ooh.
overpower it. So like Ryan kind of talked about like raising your hand and just like speaking up. So one example that I have is I believe it was like my sophomore year here in Rawls. I think we were just like in SBLP, we were doing like a luncheon and there were professionals obviously that were like eating with us. And they were kind of asking like, oh, like what are your goals like after college? And they were already asking me that as a sophomore. And one of the things I talked about is like I have my mind made up on like what I want to do. So yes, I'm gonna get my master's in architecture. But specifically I want to do set design and entertainment design, which is very niche. And so for like my whole freshman year, I didn't tell anyone that because I was very scared that like nobody knew what that was. And so I kind of just like kept it in and I was like, okay, once I graduate, like that's what I'm gonna do. But I built up the courage at that luncheon table to just be like, you know what, like this is what I want to do. Like, have you heard of it? And someone was like, "Oh yeah, like actually I have, like you should look into this person." And like that was already a connection that I made just from that very first time of like expressing my goals and my interests.
Yeah, you do help put the pieces of the puzzle together for other people when you display a little bit more of some of your thoughts.
Yes.
Ryan, one of the things I loved you said is, this whole aspect of change. Like it's okay that you can change. I remember in my 20s, and, this is something I think this generation, we're talking about things that people have assumptions of. And I know when I was in my 20s, the assumption was when you graduate from college, you get a job and then you're going to stay with that job for the rest of your life. Okay. At least that was my parents who had stayed in their career for a long time. And I was coming out in a time where I didn't feel as though that was going to be my path because I wasn't going to be in the military like my father or work with the federal government like my mom. I was moving into private sector. And as I moved into private sector, I realized that there were new opportunities I needed to seek. And so I was making a job change every couple of years in my 20s, to which my parents were just horrified,
Yeah.
right? Because they were like, oh my gosh, that's so disloyal and nobody's ever going to want to hire you. And so just that aspect of knowing that, hey, I can change my mind, I can try new things, I can be vulnerable, I can tell people like this, these are some of my interests. And that might shift, where you go in your 20s. So it sounds like you've already learned that lesson and you're going to be moving beyond that very quickly. All right, so let's go into this beautiful snow globe that you're leaving out here in Lubbock, Texas. We've got students who they come into the snow globe, and like you said, it's very structured, right? You've got lots of support around you. You have all sorts of different organizations that you can join. You're going to be describing or defining your major, and then you're going to be taking classes specific to your major. There's a lot of structure around that. But we also know that when you go into the real world, it's not going to be as structured. And we try to serve you, and they do a great job here at Rawls in providing you a mentor to give you some of that advice. So what's something that you're dealing with now that takes you outside of campus resources that's not in the snow globe? What are you leveraging or using or starting to explore that isn't necessarily in this structured world?
I think it's just moving into your senior year and your upcoming summers. You're having to expand outside of on-campus resources for internships and grad school because you have to determine where you want to go, all of the different factors that could go into that, what's best for you because no one else knows what's best. And at this point, not many people, at least the ratio of it, go to grad school post undergrad and maybe not in the same field as you for sure. So you have a lot less people to ask, how do I do this? Where do I go to apply? What do I need to submit? How do I know when the deadline is? All these different things. Whereas kind of like going into college from high school, they kind of give you all that stuff. And it's kind of just like everybody's doing it at the same time. So you and all of your friends are all doing the exact same processes.
Sure.
Or people who are just a year or 2 years older than you know the process step by step. They just did it. So it's going to be now where it's like you have to do a lot more of your own due diligence to find what you need to do and where you want to go.
Where are you finding that?
You just you just look around.
Yeah.
Like have really scoured like the Texas Tech law website and all the different things. And like you look on LinkedIn, you look in your student orgs. I know from Future Lawyers of Today, a lot of them are going to law school. So I look at our previous president who just graduated. Hey, where did you end up? How did you get there? How did you study for the LSAT? How did you apply? When did you apply? So those organizations are really helpful for that because there are the niche group of people who are going the same path as you who aren't in Rawls. They're in a different college and now they're going to law school too, so I can ask them. But it takes a lot more of your own efforts to find the correct people to ask.
Have your mentors been helpful in any?
Yes.
So I was going to say, when you're partnered with mentors and Turn Mentoring, it isn't necessarily because they went to grad school or law school and now you're going. So they might have taken a different path than you. So it's not noise when you talk to your mentors. You are getting help.
Yes.
Have they been able to expand your network beyond them?
Yes. I would say both of my mentors really have. They've been able to help me expand my network, but I don't like to limit myself. I like to explore as many opportunities as possible.
As you should.
And like you said, like campus has a lot of opportunities already. So I kind of try to get those opportunities and get what I want out of it. I know that sounds a little scary or like a little crazy, but for example, last semester, Rawls invited the HR head at the NFL to come and present. And so I attended that conversation. And then I followed up with the HR professional because of course, like they also have a role in hiring. And I was like, hey, this is like my name, this is my major. I'm really interested in like set design and entertainment architecture. I know y'all do like a lot of Super Bowl shows and like halftime shows and things like that. Is there any opportunities outside of obviously like campus or like things like that? So you just have to be proactive as well.
Okay, so for all of you that don't know Jaiden, he is the king of follow-up. So right there, he's dropping a lot of really good knowledge for you. I don't care what age you are. He is the king of follow-up. So you guys, you've had mentors. I know you seek out your own mentors. Like you said, you like to kind of go out and do your own thing. So design the perfect alumni mentor. We have an audience of people that are listening and they're like, what can I deliver to 20-something-year-olds? What do they want to know? Who am I as a mentor? How can I deliver for them? So what would be some things that you're seeking from alumni mentors?
For me, it's been hard to find a mentor with as interesting of a career path as I have or have planned. Because I'm an information technology sport management minor who applied for those two majors and minors with the intention of going sports analytics. Since then, we have had the uproar of NIL and all of the different compliance issues and insane amounts of money and rules and everything. So I have gained an interest in law and contracts and NIL, which has evolved. So it's really interesting. Every time I'm like, oh, I want to go law, people are like, oh, what's your major? I'm like, oh, I'm IT. They're like, what? I'm like, oh, I'm also sport management. They're like, I don't get it. So it'd be really helpful to have a mentor who maybe not isn't in my specific field, but who has kind of made like those different jumps and being like, how do you get to where you want to go when all of your things don't connect? Because I'm not IT going into AI or something. So just having someone who's like, oh yeah, I had to navigate that too, where my paths were all over the place and I was still able to get on track.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, what's so interesting is that and I hear more and more these days, which is what the working world is having to deal with. It's that the traditional jobs are no longer the future jobs, and that you might have been trained in something 10 years ago that is now going to be obsoleted because life is moving at a rapid pace and there's all these new things coming to market. So you're looking for a mentor who really understands flexibility, reinvention of self, entrepreneurial thought. It doesn't matter if it's in your specific major and minor.
Right.
You just need somebody who knows how to pivot.
Yes.
Okay. So Jaiden, design your awesome mentor.
Yeah, I totally agree. And some things that I would add, definitely someone who is personable and can follow up. So like that's one of the things that I'm very big on. We don't have to have, 30-minute conversations. It's just like here and there, just checking in. I think that goes a long way.
All that momentary mentorship.
Yes, momentary mentorship. Just letting them know that you're available, I think, is really important. And that like you didn't forget about them. And like neither of my mentors have made me feel that way, but I think it would go a long way if mentors did start doing that a little bit more. And then also someone who maybe they don't have all of the answers or like they didn't go down the same exact career path, but they are willing to utilize their connections and like ask questions for you as well, like in their profession. And I think that would also be very useful.
Okay, so mentors who are resilient,
Hmm.
mentors who are available,
Yes.
even if it's just for a quick question,
Yes.
and mentors who, that last one, remind me again, resilient,
I
they're
would,
available,
I would say they're proactive.
oh, and proactive. Okay, thank you for that. All right. So you stated earlier about this life after college.
Mm.
And one of the things that you're worried about is you've built all of these relationships and
Mhm.
how you're going to keep those relationships when you leave school. Is this something that you talk to with your friends? Like, how are we going to stay in touch? I'm probably going to go to University of Miami and study architecture, and you're going to go wherever you're going to go. So what are you guys talking about? Or it's just like, we'll just see when we get there.
We definitely say that we're gonna keep in touch, but I know that things change, especially in your 20s. People, start their families and they start different careers in different cities. So we've all kind of said that we're gonna make it a priority to also show up for our friends. But I know that doesn't always happen, so that kind of makes me feel sad sometimes. But I know I'm also gonna gain a lot of friendships as I'm working or also just staying active outside of work and like doing other things. I talked about like keeping that momentum. So yes, I'm gonna get a job, but I also want to, join like a workout group or something like that, just to keep me active and motivated as well.
So your generation is the first generation that from the cradle you had access to tech.
Hmm.
And you talked about the fact that you're going to show up,
Hmm.
which is different than showing up on tech.
Hmm.
So for you in your development of relationship and keeping relationships, where does technology play a role versus being in person and seeing those individuals?
Yeah, definitely showing up in person goes way further than just showing up.
I love hearing. I love hearing that.
But of course, if it's something smaller, just like a text, like a holiday text or something like that, that does go a long way as well. Just letting them know that you are thinking about them. I think that's also great. But I think just finding those moments. So, like for me and my mentor, I texted her and I was like, "Hey, I'm actually going to be in Dallas over the weekend. Do you have time for coffee?" And so, like using technology as a way to like set up those
Mm.
meetings and those quick schedules, that's really great. So I was ultimately like able to meet with her in person, which is really great. Even though it was like a last minute thing, technology was able to help make that process much smoother and like.
And I'm recognizing that you're building your perfect alumni mentor in the same way that you behave, which is that whole proactive,
Hmm.
get in touch with them, set up the time to see
Yeah.
them in person.
Hmm.
That's really amazing because I do see a lot of students are very connected to technology. They have a hard time connecting with people in real life. They're very nervous about conversations with strangers. And so they're missing out, I think, on the opportunities because people are people,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
So, Ryan, what about you? You're going to be heading off to law school, I am sure. How are you going to stay in touch with your friends? What are some of the things that you're committing to?
I think the hard part is in some part of your mind, you do know that's like kind of one of those truths that you know but haven't said out loud that like this may not continue. And that's nobody's fault and for no bad reason. But like a lot of my friends grew up in different places than I did, and we're probably going to go back to different places or move to different places. And of course, being online really does help with that, both in school and moving forward. It's just like you know a lot more about what's going on in other people's lives so that when you do see them in person, when you do make that effort, you have a lot more to talk about. You're like, "Oh, how was your trip?" or how has school been?" and all that kind of stuff. It's easier to know what people are doing, so that's always helpful, but really, like Jaiden said, I love in-person interactions way more. Like, I will take an in-person class over an online class all of the time, even though online can be a lot more convenient, just because I don't feel like you can really have a true connection with somebody when it's fully online. I've never once emailed an online professor and like unless I have like a grade issue, whereas I've had professors in person that I've nominated for awards and who have had children since then. And I've been able to follow up with them and be like, how's it going now? Like, how's your child? And like, how's work been? And all of the different things that they've done, and like be able to have that mentorship outside that you've gone and created on your own. And you just can't do that over an online platform.
Mm.
And even just from an academic standpoint too, it's so much easier to succeed in class when you actually have a professor who you can stand next to and show them your work and say, how does this look? What can I do differently? And be able to actually see like their body language and like how they speak to you and how much that can impact a relationship. Because sometimes when you're emailing a professor, you're like, oh, they think I'm dumb. That was a dumb question. I shouldn't have said that. Like, now they think that I'm just not doing my job. Whereas, like, in person, it's much easier for them to be like, I can see you're putting in the work. I can see where you're having a disconnect. We might just not be communicating it correctly to really get the answers that you need.
Mm-hmm.
So, putting forth the effort to have those in-person connections is
So
something that I hope to carry forward and really take the time for, because they are so valuable.
And they do require a little bit of work,
Mhm.
right? They do require work. Well, I'm sure every single one of your professors are very happy that you showed up to class. I can just see them. If I said Ryan Briggs, I can see them smiling. All right, so now we're going to go into lightning round. These are fast. Okay, we're going to start with Ryan, and I'm going to go to Jaiden, so you get the benefit of hearing her answers first. All right, so Ryan, one thing you do again in college.
Athletics, sports, be involved in the things that you won't be able to do in the future while you're still a student.
Okay. You went straight. You're like, there's so many things I would do. Okay, and Jaiden, one thing you do again in college.
So something that I would do again and something that I would do differently is definitely talk more. I would talk to like so many people, just to like maximize those connections, and I would be more outgoing.
Okay. Ryan, one habit you're taking into post grad.
Probably writing stuff down, to-do lists, scheduling, having Excel spreadsheets that I've learned to create in college that help me stay organized, budgeting.
You did say you're type A, so that makes a lot of sense. All right, Jaiden, what are you taking? What habit are you taking into post grad?
One habit that I'm taking is maximizing my schedule, but in the best way of like also incorporating self-care, also incorporating like fitness, and then as well as like my job and things like that.
Okay. Skill you're still building. We're going to start with you.
Skill I'm still building. I would say obviously like my architecture skills. There's a lot that I just do not know. And I know that even once I get a job, I'm not going to know them, but just being able to ask those peers around me is really going to help me.
Okay.
I think that I will continue and will never stop building like people skills, because you meet different people every day and everybody reacts differently, has different responses. So like building empathy and knowing how to deal with different altercations or things that may come up. I think that's just a skill that'll continue to grow for the rest of your life the more people that you interact with.
Okay. And since this is going out on all streaming services, we'll probably get answers in the responses. So you get to ask the audience one question. If you could ask an alumni for yourself right now, you got the whole alumni community out there. What do you want to know? Who do you want to be connected with? What do you want to know? We'll see if we can't make it happen.
No. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's really tough.
See, this is the world is your oyster. You get to ask anything you want.
I don't know. How do you know what is right? And if you don't know what is right, how do you deal with it? Like, how do you make it right?
Somebody's going to say flip a coin, but we'll see what the other answers are.
We were just talking about that,
Yes,
though,
we
and
were.
that is a valid answer.
It's actually a
What about you, Jaiden? What do you want to ask? Anything out there?
One question that I want to ask an alum is, does it ever get easier making those decisions in the future? Because I know I'm always going to have to make life-altering decisions.
Oh, that's a good question. I think the alumni are going to ask other alumni. That's the exact.
I think I could even kind of add to that, and also, how do you advance your time management skills? Whereas like now we are already struggling to balance like school and work and social lives. And then how do you add kids to that and a spouse and all these other different things and still like have time to breathe?
You do. I can honestly say, I mean, I'm one alumni, but I can honestly say that you will figure it out. that you can have it all. You just can't have it all right now.
Mhm.
And that, I think, is the fallacy that people believe, is that they can have it all in this moment. You can't prioritize everything.
Yeah.
But you move through spaces in life where you get a chance to prioritize things. Right now, the priority in your life is your education. And as you move through that and you acquire a ton of knowledge, you're then going to want to acquire a ton of wisdom.
Mhm.
And in order to get that wisdom, you need to apply your knowledge. And so you're going to move into work. And then once you start building wisdom, you might want to share that with people. You might want to become a mentor. You may want to then decide that in all of this that I'm now mastering, I now want to start a family. So you're just going to have to reshift your priorities through life, but you're going to be able to get through it. None of us have it all at the same time. We don't. There are sacrifices that we have to make. And so if you have, and I know Jaiden for sure, because we've had so many conversations, if you have a good North Star, if you know yourself really well, and you have your ethics and morals, and you are just pointed in a direction that you're very confident in, and both of you are very competent individuals, you will end up making the right decisions. You'll know what to prioritize when. So that's my answer. But let's see what the alumni say. All right. So I'm going to close out this section because we have heard from two wonderful seniors here at the Rawls College of Business at Texas Tech. Today, we heard that uncertainty is normal. We heard that despite the fact that this is the first generation of students that were raised with technology, that they still find interpersonal human connection to be one of the most valued tools that they have not only learned here at school, but they're going to take forward with them in life. And that mentorship has been a part of that for them. I know that even in our conversations, it is not mentor-mentee. These students have also helped mentor me in a lot of things. And so I want to thank you, Ryan, and you, Jaiden, for being a part of not only Turn Mentoring, but a part of this podcast. And I hope that there are others that are listening that are going to learn from you as well. So we will see you next time on Turn Talks. Look for us online on any streaming service. If you're interested in getting connected with us, you can always do so on our website at turnmentoring.com or via email at info@turnmentoring.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Students, don't wait until senior spring. It's never too early to start building your identity capital with relationships and projects.
Alumni, you don't need to be perfect, you need to be present. A few conversations can make a world of a difference.
Thank you for listening to Turn Talks. To learn more about our robust mentoring platform, visit us at turnmentoring.com. Join us next time for more enlightening conversations.